quiet, but beneath that silence, tension was rising like a storm waiting to break. Lieutenant Hamza stood quietly, holding his rifle, his eyes fixed ahead. He had been awake for hours, but sleep was the last thing on his mind. Every small sound made him alert. Every movement felt important. "Something's coming," he whispered to himself. Not far away, across the border, Captain Vikram checked his watch. His heartbeat was steady, but his mind was sharp. He knew nights like this didn't stay quiet for long. "Stay ready," he told his team softly. "We move on command." Minutes passed slowly, like time itself was holding its breath. Then suddenly, a loud explosion shattered the silence. The ground trembled, and within seconds, gunfire erupted from both sides. Bullets tore through the air, flashing like lightning in the darkness. Soldiers rushed into position, shouting orders, trying to stay in control of the chaos. Hamza dropped behind cover and fired back. His hands were steady, but inside his heart was racing. Around him, his fellow soldiers moved with speed and discipline, each one focused on survival and duty. "Keep the line strong," someone shouted. On the other side, Vikram moved forward, signaling his men to advance. The battlefield lit up with fire and smoke, turning night into a violent storm of noise. Amid the chaos, something unexpected happened. Hamza heard a faint voice calling for help. It was not from his side. He hesitated for a moment. The voice came again, weaker this time. Without thinking too much, he moved carefully toward the sound, staying low to avoid gunfire. As he got closer, he saw a wounded soldier lying on the ground. It was an enemy soldier. Hamza froze. The man was injured badly, struggling to breathe. For a moment, Hamza's training told him to step back. This was the enemy. But something else, something human, told him otherwise. The wounded soldier looked at him with tired eyes. "Water," he whispered. Hamza slowly reached for his bottle. His hand paused in the air. Then he made a choice. He gave him water. The soldier drank with difficulty, his hands shaking. "Why, are you helping me?" he asked. Hamza didn't answer immediately. "Because you're a human," he finally said. Before anything else could be said, heavy gunfire started again nearby. Hamza quickly moved back to his position, leaving the soldier behind but alive. The battle continued for hours. The night seemed endless. Every second felt like a test of courage, strength, and survival. As dawn began to rise, the firing slowly stopped. Smoke covered the battlefield. The noise faded, replaced by an eerie silence. Both sides pulled back slightly, holding their positions. Hamza sat down, exhausted. His uniform was covered in dust, his face tired, but his mind was still thinking about that moment. Across the border, Vikram walked through the field, checking on his soldiers. He stopped when he saw the wounded man. "You're alive," Vikram said, surprised. The soldier nodded weakly. "Someone helped me." "Who?" Vikram asked. The soldier looked toward the other side of the border. "I don't know his name, but he wasn't supposed to help me." Vikram stayed silent for a moment. He understood. Later that evening, both sides remained quiet. No orders to attack, no movement, just stillness. Hamza looked at the horizon, thinking deeply. "Maybe one day," he said softly, "there will be no need for this." On the other side, Vikram stood in the same way, looking at the same sky. Neither of them knew each other, but both felt the same thing. War had taken enough, and maybe, just maybe, humanity was still stronger. The night was cold and silent along the border. The wind whispered through the dry grass, carrying tension with it. On one side stood the soldiers of Pakistan, and on the other the soldiers of India. Between them was a thin line on the map, but in reality it was a line of fire, fear, and duty. Captain Ayan Khan of the Pakistan Army adjusted his jacket as he looked through his binoculars. The darkness was heavy, but he knew the enemy was there, watching, waiting. "Stay alert," Ayan said calmly to his team. "Tonight feels different." Across the border, Major Arjun Singh of the Indian Army stood with the same feeling in his chest. He checked his rifle and looked at his men. "No mistakes," Arjun ordered. "We defend our land at all costs." Both men were strangers, yet they shared the same burden, protecting their country, their people, and their honor. At exactly 2:17 a.m., a sudden gunshot broke the silence. Everything changed in a second. Bullets began to fly across the border like sparks of fire in the dark. Explosions echoed through the hills. The peaceful night turned into chaos. Ayan shouted, "Take cover! Return fire!" His soldiers moved quickly, trained for moments like this. Dust and smoke filled the air as they fought back with courage. On the other side, Arjun led his men forward. "Push ahead, don't let them advance." The battlefield became a storm of fire, noise, and fear. Yet in the middle of it all, both sides fought with discipline. A soldier's heart. As the fight continued, Ayan noticed one of his young soldiers, Bilal, shaking. "Sir, I'm scared," Bilal admitted. Ayan placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "Fear is normal. Courage is fighting despite it." Bilal nodded, took a deep breath, and returned to his position. At the same time, Arjun saw one of his soldiers injured. "Medic!" he yelled, running toward him. The soldier looked up weakly. "Sir, will we make it?" Arjun held his hand. "We will. Stay strong." Even in war, humanity was alive. As the battle slowed near dawn, something unexpected happened. Ayan moved forward through the smoke and rubble, scanning the area. Suddenly, he came face to face with Arjun. Both men froze. For a moment, there was no gunfire, no shouting, just silence. They pointed their weapons at each other, but neither fired. Ayan spoke first. "It doesn't have to be like this." Arjun replied, "But it is." There was no hatred in their eyes, only understanding. Both knew they were not enemies by choice, but by duty. After a tense moment, distant gunfire resumed, and they both stepped back, disappearing into the smoke. The turning point. The battle grew intense again. Reinforcements arrived on both sides. Tanks rolled in and the ground shook with explosions. Ayan received an order through his radio: "Hold your position at all costs." Arjun got a similar command: "Advance and secure the sector." Both men knew this could be the final phase. The fighting was brutal. Soldiers fell. The air was filled with cries, gunshots, and the roar of war, but neither side gave up. By evening, the battlefield was quiet again. The fighting had stopped, not because one side had won, but because both had lost enough. Ayan walked through the field, looking at the damage. His face was tired, his eyes heavy. Arjun did the same on the other side. They both stood near the borderline again, this time from a distance. No weapons raised, no words spoken, just silence. The realization. That night, Ayan wrote in his diary, "War does not decide who is right, it only decides who is left." At the same time, Arjun wrote, "We fight for our countries, but peace is what we truly need." Days later, the border returned to its usual tension, but the memory of that night remained. Ayan and Arjun never met again. But somewhere deep inside, both knew the truth. The real enemy was not each other. It was the war itself.